Hi, dear students. I am Srinivas sir from Sri Sai Sadbhavana School. We are continuing the second chapter, that is adaptation in plants, part 2. Adaptation in plants, part 2. Up to here, what we have learned, what are the terrestrial plants, what are the aquatic plants, and terrestrial plants, plants in hilly areas, how they are, what are the kinds of the leaves, that means what are the types of the leaves. Next, plants in marshy areas, how they will grow, what are the breathing roots, everything we have learned. Plants in hot dam areas also, we have learned, that is the evergreen plants, when they will shed down the leaves. Okay, that means different kinds of plants we have learned in the last class. What is adaptation? You have asked in so many students asked what is the meaning of adaptation. The adaptation means what we are making arrangements. That means the arrangements that making themselves to live in that area. Okay. See here they are given. They develop special features. They develop some special features. We have to develop some special features to live in that area. To live in that area are special characteristics, are special features we have to develop. So they are called as that characteristics, features is called as adaptation. That means what we are developing to stay in that adaptation, that area is called as adaptation. We have to adapt ourselves. We have to adapt ourselves to live in that area because the areas are not changed according to our wish. They won't change according to our wish. We have to adjust. We have to adjust ourselves to that area. For example, climate or water or the air or anything. You have to adjust yourself. That adjustment is called as adaptation. Okay, I hope you understand what is adaptation. Next, terrestrial plants and aquatic plants. Terrestrial plants means the plants which are growing on the land. Aquatic plants means which are growing inside the water. In the terrestrial plants, you learn about the plants in hilly areas, that is coniferous trees, spruce trees, their needle-like structure, what the leaves they have, needle-like structure, and the coating of wax is also present to avoid the evaporation of water. To avoid the evaporation of water. Plants near marshy areas, they the roots are above the ground because to breathe, that roots are also called as breathing roots. Breathing roots. Next, when you come to the plains in hot and dam areas, that is evergreen plants, they won't shed their leaves throughout the year. They are green in color, so they are called, therefore, they are called as evergreen plants. They are called as evergreen plants. These plants have lots of leaves and throughout the year they remain green. Throughout the year they remain green. Okay, they are found in the tropical rainforest having plenty of moisture and heat. Next, plants in plains like mango, sesame, and they found in plain areas and they shed their leaves during winter. They shed their leaves during winter. And plants in deserts also I have explained, cactus. For example, cactus in which the leaves become the in the stem only they do the photosynthesis. The stem perform the function of photosynthesis because here scarcity of water. Due to scarcity of water, here the stems do the function of photosynthesis. Leaves become thrones. Leaves become thrones. Okay. Here the green flagellum contains chlorophyll and makes food. To avoid in these plants also, to avoid the evaporation of water, waxy material is present. Waxy material is present, that is coated with the wax type material. Next we will go to aquatic plants. Aquatic plants. Till here, now we are studying about the plants which are living on the earth. Then we will go which are the plants living inside the earth, inside the water, inside the water. I will read page number 14. Okay, aquatic plants. The plants that grow and remain in water are called aquatic plants. They adapt themselves to make their food in water. First, I will explain these two lines because here also once again this adaptation is come. The plants that grow and remain in water are called aquatic plants. The plants which are living in water are called as aquatic plants. Aqua means water. Aqua means water. The plants which are living in water are called as aquatic plants. They adapt themselves. That means they make some changes themselves to live in the water. Okay, and they make their food in the water itself. In the water, their food in water. We will go for first one, floating plants. In this, the first one is floating plants. Floating plants. I will read. Floating plants are of two types. Those which are rooted with floating leaves like water lily and those which are not rooted in the sediment but just float on the surface like duckweed. Like duckweed. Floating plants are of two types. That means those which are rooted with floating leaves, they are rooted with the floating leaves. That means the leaves they attached as the roots. They act as the roots like water lily. Then example for this floating plants is water lily. That means these plants float on the leaves, float on the water, float on the water. These plants float on the water. Okay, those which are rooted with floating leaves, that means the leaves acts as the roots. The leaves acts as the roots. Okay, which are not rooted in the sediment, that means not fixed to the down to the ground, but just float on the surface like duckweed. They will just ducks are duckweed. That is a plant surface like a duckweed. Next, we'll go to water. The green pigment chlorophyll and stomata are present on the upper surface of the leaf. The green pigment, chlorophyll and stomata are present on the upper surface of the leaf. The upper surface often has a coating of thick way substance to repel water. It is also helps to keep the stomata open and clear. The plants float because they are either light or small in size. These plants protect small water animals from heat of the sun. Next, how they prepare their own food. Floating plants means the plants which are floating on the water. For example, water lily. Water lily, some plants they will grow from the bottom of the earth, or some are floating there only. Their roots are present. Okay, floating itself, their roots are present like the leaves. They attach the leaves acts like the roots. Okay, the green pigment. How they prepare their own food? The green pigment, chlorophyll and stomata are present on the upper surface of the leaf. Upper surface of the leaf is chlorophyll present. The upper surface often has a coating of thick wax substance. Here also wax-like substance which repel water. Repel. When you pour some water, it will passes easily down. That means it repel. Repel means throw out. That means it will slide. The water will slide easily. Wax material. It also helps to keep the stomata open and clear. That means due to water, what will happen if the water is come to contact with the leaf, the stomata which is present, it is not possible to take in or breathe out. Breathe in or breathe out. So here a small wax gap is there. It keeps the gaps. So that wax material, so breathing, that means exchange of gases takes place. Exchange of gases takes place. The plants float because they are either light or small in size. Why these plants float? Because they are very, very small in size, either light in weight. They are light in weight. These plants protect small water animals from heat of the sun. That means these plants, what are the uses of these plants? They protect water animals, the small water animals from the heat of sun. Heat of the sun. Then what are the uses of these floating plants? They protect the small water animals present in the ponds. They protect from the heat of the sun. Heat of the sun. So this is the uses of the floating plants. What they do? They protect the small animals present from the heat of sun. Next, emergent plants. Emergent plants. Cattle and iris are plants with the lower part often submerged. They have tall and narrow leaves. The stem have tough internal fibers and a hollow structure. This allows them to withstand severe winds without getting damaged. Emergent plants means the plants which are under the water. This they will float above the water. But these emergent plants, how they will float like this. Here their roots to the earth, they will fix the roots to the earth, and the earth off part of the body above the water, and below the other off part below the water, below the water level, below the water level. That is called as emergent plants. Catella and iris are plants with the lower part often submerged. They have tall and narrow leaves. That means they have very lengthy leaves. The stem have tough internal fibers. That means this stem has tough internal fibers. That means roots-like structure. Okay, this allows them to withstand severe winds without getting damaged. When the wind blows fast, they won't damage. They won't damage these plants by these fiber roots, by this fiber-like structure. By this fiber-like structure, the wind cannot damage these emerged plants. Otherwise, they will cut by the wind and they will go out. Okay. So these emerged plants by this roots system, that means fibers like construction, that means fibers like structure, they protect themselves from the winds, from the winds. I hope you understand emergent plants. Emergent plants means some plants live below the water as well as on the top of the water. That means off portion on the water and off portion below the water. They are called as emergent plants. For example, catella and iris. Okay, cattle and iris. Next, totally submerged plants. Totally submerged plants. Totally submerged plants are the true water plants. Totally submerged. That means they live fully inside the water. Inside the water only they will grow. Inside the water only they will grow. What they are called as submerged plants. I will read. Totally submerged plants are the two water plants. Water starwood, tape grass, and pondweed are some plants which come under this category. They are normally supported by water all around them. All the surface cells absorb water, nutrients, and dissolved gases directly from the water all around them. Water transport system is poorly developed in these plants. There are no stomata on the leaves. Anchorage is the primary function of roots in such plants. These plants clean the water by removing carbon dioxide breathed out by aquatic animals like fish. That is why we put such plants in aquarium. Totally submerged plants. That means I have told that they have inside the water, they are fully covered by the water. For example, water starboard, okay, tape grass and pondweed are some plants which come under this category. These are the examples for that plants. They are normally supported by water all around them. That means they will fully supported by the water around them, in the top, bottom, by the sides, everywhere. They are normally next. All the surface cells absorb water. That means from all the ways they absorb water, nutrients, and dissolved gases directly from the water all around them. That means they will absorb the minerals, air, as well as nutrients and dissolved gases. That some gases are dissolved in water, for example, oxygen, everything. So they absorb that oxygen in the to the purpose of breathing purpose, for the purpose of breathing. That means all the surface cells absorb water as well as nutrients and dissolved gases directly from the water all around them. Water transport system is poorly developed in these plants. That means water transport system, because there is no need. Everywhere they have the water. So water transport system is very poor in these plants, because there is no need of water transport system, because the plant fully it is covered by the water. There are no stomata on the leaves. That means opening and closing also not there, because here it absorbs the oxygen from the water. These plants clean the water. Anchorage is the primary function of roots in such plants. These plants clean the water by removing carbon dioxide breathed out by aquatic animals like fish. This is why we put such plants in aquarium. What the function of these plants? These plants clean the water by removing carbon dioxide breathed out by aquatic animals. That means the animals which breathe out the carbon dioxide which are present inside the water, that they use for their their breathing purpose. So they clean that pond. They clean the pond. So for this reason only we put this type of plants in our aquariums. In our aquariums, we are putting some plants like these emerged plants, totally submerged plants, Okay. Next, we'll go for some unusual plants. Some unusual plants. That means some unusual plants means the plants where we are seeing are usual plants. That means all over wherever we go, we see all the plants. They are called as usual plants. Some unusual plants we'll see in some separate countries or in separate areas. They are called as unusual plants. Unusual plants. When you come to this some unusual plants, they have given the first one insectivorous plants. Some plants like I am reading, some plants like pitcher plant and Venus flytrap eat insects. They are called insectivorous plants. They are also known as carnivorous plants. Many insectivorous species live in freshwater bogs. That means in some unusual plants, they are given about the insectivorous plants. Here I will explain these three lines. Some plants like pitcher plant. What is the name? Pitcher plant. Pitcher. This is the name of the plant. And Venus flytrap. Venus flytrap. These are the names of the plants which eat insects. They depend on the insects. They are called as insectivorous plants. They are called as insectivorous plants. They are also known as carnivorous plants because they eat flesh. Because they are eating the flesh, carnivorous plant. Many insectivorous species live in freshwater bogs. That means in the areas of freshwater bogs they live. See how the pitcher plant looks. They have given pitcher plant as Venus flytrap. How they will trap? Here they have given. I will read. In pitcher plant, prey is allowed to enter the pitcher, a cylindrical modified leaf. As the prey enters, the lid of the pitcher plant is closed. The digestive juice present inside help the plant to digest the prey. An animal trap, 2 or 3 sensitive trigger hairs present on a Venus flytrap. It causes the closing of leaf lid. Digestive juice present inside helps to digest the prey in 3 to 5 days. If no prey is caught, the trap will open within an hour. Ant plants. In tropical habitat, plants and ants have developed a bond. Ants living on a plant attack any animal that touches the plant. Ants make their homes on these plants. Here, how the pitcher plant. Pitcher plant has this like structure. And here a lid is there. Here a lid is there. This is a leaf, modified leaf. Cylindrically modified leaf. What is this structure? Leaf. Okay. Has the prey enter? That means if an insect enter inside. Okay. If any insect inside, this lid closes. What happens? This lid closes and here some enzymes, digestive juices are present which digest this insect. They digest this insect and they get the food from this insect. How this pitcher plant. Okay, in the pitcher plant, the prey enters into the tubeless cylindrical modified lid here. It has got a lid. When the prey enters, it closes. When the insects enter, it closes. Here, some digestive juices are present. They digest this insect. When you come to the Venus flytrap, Venus flytrap, here these structures are like this. Okay, two openings. Another opening here. Okay, here like structures. When an insect comes here and sits here, they closes just like this. Okay, if any insect comes here, just they closes like this. Okay, then there it digests juice also present inside this. They digest the prey in 3 to 5 days. It will take 3 to 5 days to digest the prey. This Venus flytrap traps some big size flies also. Some big size flies also. It will take 3 to 5 days for the digestion. When once the digestion is over, it once again opens. If the digestion is over, it's once again open. If it is closed, if this escapes, then it will open once again. It won't take another 3 to 5 days. Okay. If the prey is present inside that, then only it will close. If the prey that is digestive is completed, then it opens. Ant plants. In tropical habitat, that means in tropical area, ants have developed a bond. What is the meaning of bond? That means adjustment. That is a relation. Bond means relationship. Ants living on a plant attack any animal that touches the plant. If any animal touches the plant, what they will do? They will attack. All the ants will come and attack that animal. These ants make their homes on these plants. Ants make their homes on these plants. That means plant helps them to make their home in the plant, and when anybody come and touches the plant, they will attack the animal. Here. That means they have the relationship to survive. Next, plants on the grass family. Several plants I am reading. Several plants like wheat, rice, corn, jowar and bajra belong to the grass family of the plant kingdom. The seeds of such plants are edible. Bamboo plants are actually giant grass. Bamboos are some of the fastest growing plants in the world. Soft bamboo shoots, stems and leaves are major food sources of the giant panda of China. Bamboo shoots have a high nutritional value and are rich in vitamins, cellulose and amino acids. Bamboo is used in Chinese medicine for treating infections and healing. Bamboo fiber is used to make paper. Bamboo is also used for making furniture, baskets and many other handicrafts. Here they are given the bamboo plant. I have already seen the bamboos everywhere. Okay. Then plants of the grass family. What are the plants? Have you seen the grass? Yes, we have seen the grass. In the grass, there are different kinds. Several plants like wheat. What we are eating wheat by making chapatis, rotis, wheat, rice, corn, jowar and bajra. These are all belong to the grass family. They all belong to the grass family of the plant kingdom. Here they are divided to some kingdoms. Okay, when you come to the higher classes, you will come to know which are the kingdoms. Okay, here they have divided the plant kingdom and animal kingdom. Here in the grass family, in the kingdom, they are divided into families. In this grass family, these comes, which are several plants like wheat, rice, corn, jowar and bajra and still more. The seeds of such plants are edible. What is the meaning of edible? Edible means good to eat. We will use them for eating purpose. Edible means eating purpose. We eat them. Okay. Bamboo plants are actually giant grass. In the grass family, which are the giant means biggest, largest. is the plant is actually the giant grass. Bamboos are some of the fastest growing plants in the world. Bamboos are very fastest growing. That means they will grow very fast. Soft bamboo shoots. That means if the bamboos are very soft, that shoots, stems and leaves are major food source of the giant panda of China. That panda is an animal. Panda is an animal which lives in China. Which lives in China. So these are the food for this panda. What are they? Soft bamboo shoots, stems and leaves. They eat which one eat? Pandas. They will eat this soft bamboos. Bamboo shoots have high nutritional value and are rich in vitamins. That means bamboo shoots have a high nutritional value. That means they have very rich in nutrients. Very rich in nutrients and are rich in vitamins also, cellulose also and amino acids. These are all needed for the all the animals for the better growing, for the purpose of better growth. Okay, bamboo is used in Chinese medicine for treating infections and healing. In the China, this bamboo is used for the medicinal plant as a medicinal plant. For what purpose? Treating infections. That means if any person is infected by some virus or anything, they use and for healing purpose also to treat the patients. Bamboo fiber is used to make paper. Once again, these papers also made by this bamboo. Trees also they will use and bamboo is also used for the purpose of making the paper. Bamboo is also used for making furniture. You know, you have seen the bamboo furniture, baskets, some designery baskets and other handicrafts also. That means very, very beautiful things they will made by this bamboo. For the purpose of making that what we are carrying that some booty wall, you call it as some things where for carrying purpose they make this, okay, this like structure. Okay, they are manufactured by the bamboo for the purpose. Okay, they made handicraft also. That means they use it for decorative purpose. Handicraft means they use it for decorative purpose. Okay, handicraft means made by hand. The crafts which are made by hand are called as handicrafts. Okay, next here I hope you understand the plants, which are the aquatic plants. Okay, and in the aquatic plants, some are floating on the water and some are off on floating and off merged and totally submerged plants are there. That means totally submerged plants are there. Okay, we will discuss it about these points and once again we will discuss about some unusual points also, that is insectivorous plants, how they will eat the insects. Okay, next we will go went to plants of the grass family. We have learned about the plants of the grass family also. Plants of the grass family also, that is edible plants. Okay, next here this lesson completes. So we will read the summarize and fact file. First fact file: some climber plants are as thick as and strong as a rope. Example, liana. Insectivorous plants are green and can carry out photosynthesis. That means some climber plants as thick and strong as a rope. Example, liana. That means their climbers. That means what the climbs. That means the parts of the body, parts of the plant body. They will very strong as like as the ropes. That means we will hang on them. We will hang on them. Example, liana. Insectivorous plants are green and they can carry out photosynthesis also. They can carry out photosynthesis also. That means insectivorous plants, they will carry out photosynthesis also. Now we will go to the summary. Different kinds of plants are found in different regions. Plants that grow on land are called terrestrial plants. They grow in cold areas, marshy areas, coastal areas, plains or deserts. Aquatic plants are one that grow and remain in water. They can be fully underwater, fixed, free floating or emergent. Insectivorous plants eat insects to get nutrition. Free floating plants are not rooted to the soil. Free floating plants are not rooted to the soil. That means different kinds of plants are found in the different regions. I already explained. That means we find so many plants over on the earth. Okay, some are present on the earth and some are present inside the water. Plants that grow on the land are called as terrestrial plants. Okay, they grow in cold areas, marshy areas, coastal areas, plains, deserts, everywhere. And aquatic plants are the one that grows and remain in water. Okay, 24 hours, 365 days they remain in water only. They can be fully underwater. Some are living under the water, some are fixed, some are free floating or emergent. That means off on the water, off below the water. Aquatic plants that are, sorry, insectivorous plants eat insects to get nutrition. That means insectivorous plants eat insects for there to get nutrition. Free floating plants are not rooted to the soil. That means the plants which are floating on the water, their roots are not fixed to the soil. So this completes your lesson. Okay, I hope you understand very well. Next, in the next class, we will go to the next animal life. That means adaptation in animals. Okay, I will send the notes. Okay, in the next classes, in the next days. Okay, thank you very much. Have a nice day. Okay, be safe.